Hello, welcome back to another episode of Suburban Hunt 365. I am DJ, and we are yet again continuing on with our muzzleloader series. And just like last week's video, this week's video was a second part that was brought to you by one of our subscribers, Craig Holland 2274. Again, huge shout out to you for the idea for this video. Last week we did the 250 grain Barnes TEZ. All right, it's the Spitfire TEZs. This week we're going to get into the 290 grains and see how that heavier projectile does. Now, in all of the other testing I've done, my CBA likes those heavier projectiles. So I'm kind of assuming there's going to be some good things coming down in this video. We're going to do the same ladder test as we did last week with the Barnes 209, 56 on the low end, 70 in the middle, and then 84 on the high end. And we're going to see what happens. Just like last week, if you didn't catch that video, please go ahead and follow the link above. Go check that out. But last week, it was a little bit wider at 56, nice and tight at 70, and a little, quite a bit wider at 84. And that let us know that right there at that 70 was a good spot to hold on, or at least start looking at where you want to put your charge. So, and I failed to mention it last week, but I definitely want to stress it this one. Everything I'm doing is CCI Magnum Primer 209s. So we're going to start off with the 56 grain Barnes 209. Again, we are shooting the Barnes TEZ 290 grain projectiles. Holy cow! I could take that to the woods tomorrow if I had to. Granted, it wasn't on my crosshair notch. It was a little bit lower, but still, that came in at 1 inch, guys. We're starting off with a heavier projectile with a lighter charge, 1 inch group at 100 yards. Wasn't too bad on the shoulder. Not a bad way to go. But it's 1 inch. Last week's did better at 70 grains. Let's see what 70 grains does with 290 grain Barnes Spitfire TEZs. Alright, well that's kind of interesting, especially with the heavier projectile. I kind of assumed that it would either stay the same or possibly get a little bit tighter, but this one actually spread out for 2 inches. That is a 2 inch group you see on the target there. Again, I could definitely hunt with it. So 56 grain right now at 1 inch, 70 grain at 2 inch. I'm kind of liking this projectile at 290 grains, but let's see how it does on the high end with the higher velocities. So we're going to be shooting 84 grains, Barnes 209. All right, let me explain myself real quick and why there's 4 shots in this particular group. That first one hit low, and then the second one and a third one hit high right on top of each other. And that got me thinking about the fact of, okay, well, you saw in the velocities that we were in the 1700s on that first shot and it was low, and then the following shots were in the up, in the 2000 range, a little bit higher in 2000 range, so they were right on top of each other. So I had to shoot one more shot to see where that came in. I'm not 100% sure what happened on that first shot because the velocity was lower, but those last 3, the velocities were definitely comparable to each other, and those top 3 came in at 1 inch again. Now we got that lower one in there. I'm not sure again what happened with that, but we've got a nice 1 inch group there on top. So it's kind of interesting to me. With those shot groups and that ladder test, I would say that the Barnes 209, anywhere in the range of Barnes 209 with the Barnes TEZ 290 grains, I honestly think with my rifle I would be safe. Because the idea is if I'm 1 inch down here at 56, 2 inches at 70, and then I'm down to 1 inch again at the 86, that is the spectrum of my harmonics throughout the Barnes 209. So honestly, I don't know that I couldn't use any of those groups in that. It may be a little bit different, but honestly, if I had to choose right now with the groups that we got last week and the groups that we got this week, I would definitely be swinging at 290 grain. You also got a little bit more kinetic energy because it is a heavier projectile. So honestly, Greg Holland 2274, I would go with the 290 grains and then kind of figure out what yours likes. Alright, so with those groups being 1 inch 56 grain, 1 inch at 84 grain, and then 2 at 70 grain, what I really want to do with those competing 1 inch groups is we're going to move over to the gongs, because why not? They're just fun to play with. And let's shoot at 100 and at 200 yards and see if we can actually get contact with that 200 yards. So the first up you're going to see is the 290 grain with 56 grains of Blackburn 209. Let's see if we can catch that 200 yarder. Ah, dang it. Alright, it's on me again, guys. I'm telling you, if you actually get your crosshairs at 100 yards, I'd be really curious to see how well this Conus Pro does with the drop compensator. But we did hit it at 100 yards, but what I really want you to notice is the amount of energy at the 100 yards with a 12-inch gong. Because what we're fixing to do is the 86 grains on the 12-inch gong, and notice the energy difference. And let's see if I get lucky with that 200 yarder. Ah, dang it. Alright, well, this time I overcompensated and I went too high. That's because I'm trying to Kentucky Windage. That's why it's always best to sight in your rifles. That way you take the guessing work out of it, right? You don't want to have to be making those things on the fly. But that's okay. But what I really wanted you guys to see there is the kinetic energy, which you kind of knew it was coming, right? With the lower powder, it doesn't quite hit as hard. The higher powder is going to hit harder. So with this, I would go more towards the 84 grains for your kinetic energy. You want to make sure that you get a good shot, and that way the deer doesn't suffer any more than it absolutely has to. So again, guys, I want to put a huge shout out to Greg Holland 2274 for the idea for the previous video and for this one. I am DJ with Suburban Hunt 365. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the video, and then comment down below and let us know what you think. If you have a combo that you want us to use, a powder and a projectile, let me know. I'll be more than glad to try it out, see how it helps. Hopefully it helps you guys out, but it also lets me know where my gun shoots. So on the off chance that that's all I've got to use that day, I know where I can go from there. Again, DJ from Suburban Hunt 365. We'll catch you on the next one.